Hello, my name is Amulani. I was introduced to Dwarf Fortress about a year ago. It is a game that I really enjoy, and I would like to share my journey. I will be doing a tutorial world. I'm going to play through the tutorial in this first episode, and then I will continue playing in that tutorial world for the duration of this first series. If you are a new player to Dwarf Fortress, I highly recommend playing through the tutorial. It does sort of teach you the different controls, shows you sort of where to look for some very important things. Now, if you do notice the top left of this main screen, I do have something called DF Hack. I play Dwarf Fortress through Steam, and DF Hack is an add-on that you can download through Steam for Dwarf Fortress that does make a few things easier. It is not actually a hack. Okay. Now, I do have some other worlds, which is why the continue active game is an option. But I'm going to go ahead and just create new world for this. If you would like to read through this first menu, feel free to pause. I will not be reading through it here. And I'm going to just leave all of these settings on the sort of the default there. And I'm going to create world. Now, in future series, I do plan on choosing all of that, picking where I embark, all of that. I will not be doing that here, though. Now, top left here, it is creating our world, and what is happening is it is creating 100 years worth of history. This can be really fun to read through. Maybe not, your very first game when you're first playing through the tutorial, but the next world that you create, it can, and once you know a little bit about what's going on, that can be really fun to read through. I'm not going to read through it now, but we're going to go ahead and play now. So now it's generated the world, and it is saving the world. We have to let it get through this part before we have the option to start the tutorial. The only mode I have ever played in is Fortress mode, so that is what we are going to pick. Now, I don't know if it's true for the other modes, but whenever you pick Fortress mode, it advances the calendar 2 weeks. And that calendar is the part of the history of your world. So here we are going to hit Start Tutorial. As my cursor moves over the various land bits, you may notice that on the right side of the screen, the information that's displayed there is changing. I'm not going to get into what that means in this series. We are going to start tutorial, and when you do the tutorial, it picks where you embark. So this right information is not really relevant for us starting the tutorial. Ooh, there we go. Get a nice little stream. Looks like possibly some hills. Okay. A dwarven outpost. You have arrived. After a journey from the mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond, your harsh trek has finally ended. Your party of 7 is to make an outpost for the glory of all Dusum Breton. That is a generated name, and I may not be pronouncing it correctly, I don't know. There are almost no supplies left, but with stout labor comes sustenance. Whether by bolt, plow, hook, provided for your dwarves. You are expecting a supply caravan just before winter entombs you. But it is spring now. Enough time to delve secure lodgings ere the cougars get hungry. A new chapter of dwarven history begins here at this place. I'm not even going to try on that first one, Roof Mansion. Strike the Earth. So both of those there at the bottom before the green Strike the Earth, both of those are auto-generated names, and it is the name of our kingdom. For the purposes of this video, I really don't want to try on that first word, so I will just be calling it Roof Mansion. That was an auto-generated name, not my choice. Okay, I'm going to hit OK. Ooh, fun. Okay. By fun, I was just looking at where we started. Yay, I'm happy about that. And I can explain that in a future video. Okay, so here is the tutorial, this sort of black menu box here on the top right of the screen. It's going to teach us camera controls here. So your view is focused on one elevation at a time. To move the camera around, press WASD or hold the middle mouse button and drag the button, or the view. So W, or sorry, that was a WASD. And as you can see, I'm just pressing D over and over. It goes at kind of the same increment when you press it. And then to change the camera's elevation, press E or C or roll the mouse wheel. Hold shift to move faster. I find scrolling the mouse wheel to be easier. So we went up, we went down. And something that I did not know until doing some test tutorials was I had missed that part that says you can hit or hold shift to move faster. So I'm going to hold shift and scroll, and it's going to go lots. If you'll notice, the top right corner, it says elevation -76. We're going to scroll up. I'm holding shift. It's scrolling super fast. That's actually something that is new to me and something that is really cool. Okay, and then the view will be dark underground until you begin mining. I'm going to come back down, and this is what it means. Like, it looks kind of a black screen. But you can, let's see here. When your view is in the air above other tiles, you can see them below, but you can only interact with objects in your current elevation. The view will be dark underground until you begin mining. You can move the camera to the surface with the surface button highlighted. The F1 hotkey will recenter on your wagon. So what is flashing on the left side of the minimap there is a button. Recenter on the surface at this location. Oh, I did not. See, sometimes it's good to replay the tutorial because you learn new things. That's a new one for me. So what it was talking about was, so when your view is in the air, so we're going to scroll way up, you can see tiles below, but you can only interact with objects on your current elevation. So we are above, you can see our dwarves are on a lower one. It's kind of foggy and grayed out. But if we hit A over here and come over to sort of the current elevation, you can see these are some trees. These are the logs and leaves that we're seeing on this elevation. I'm going to scroll down one, and now we can see we're getting more of sort of the logs. And you can see sort of the size of these trees. The ones that have multiple logs here, those are older trees. If you chop those down, you're going to get a lot more wood. The ones that are just sort of single trees are, those are young trees. You're not going to get a whole lot of wood out of those. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and hit F1 to recenter on the wagon. That is a very useful trick. And we're going to hit next. Okay. You can zoom in and out of the play area using the left bracket, right bracket, or control plus mouse wheel, or the indicated buttons. Oh. Flashing on the left of the minimap here is a plus minus. So plus, minus. Again, learning new things. I typically do the left right bracket, but playing through the tutorial, highly recommended. Yeah, I've been playing for about a year and I'm still learning new things from the tutorial. Okay. It's time to get to work. Let's start by digging a stairwell into the ground. There may be plenty of hillside to dig into, but you'll want to seek wealth below the surface. Mining tasks are designated on the play area. Begin by clicking the highlighted mining button. So here at the bottom of the screen, we have sort of two sets of buttons. The mining button is at the leftmost of this center set of buttons. It's this pickaxe, and it's that you can kind of see it's flashing. That's what it wants us to click on. So we're going to click here. Now it does want us to start the stairway, but because we are on a cliffside here, we are actually just going to dig straight into the cliff. That's why I was so excited. I will be doing a few extra things beyond just what the tutorial wants us to do because I intend to stay in this world so I'm going to do a more permanent setup. This is a setup that I have developed through starting several worlds, and it's a setup I really like, and I will explain it in more detail as I go. Okay, so we are going to come in here. About 12 blocks. And then our staircase, if you do just a 1x1 staircase, your dwarves you can kind of run into traffic jams of multiple dwarves. they can't get around each other very easily on a 1x1 staircase. So a 2x1 is recommended. I am recently, in the last couple of worlds, starting to do a 2x2 staircase, and I kind of like it. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I do like to mine out one in every direction from the staircase, so the dwarves have room to get off the staircase. So what we've done here is this each one of these tiles that has that mining, the pickaxe little symbol on it, is set to be mined. And then we're going to click on the stairs here and go in the middle of it. That will overwrite the mining command that's already there. The stairs will take precedence. Now, staircases can be tricky, and there may be a way to continue a staircase from an existing staircase. If there is, I do not know how to do that. The only way that I know how to do it is to rip out a staircase and build a new one, or to dig a completely new staircase. So I am going to set the staircase up how I want it to be, like, permanently. That is the best way that I know how to do it, so I don't have to go back and muck with the stairs later. So we are going to, in order to do dig stairs, which is what we're doing in the mining menu, you do have to go down at least one elevation. And if you'll notice, the little highlighted yellow buttons are what we're drawing the staircase out of. The DF hack, the little 2x2x2 that's below it, that is a DF hack function, and the main reason why I like DF hack. I'm not very familiar with DF hack. I've only been playing with it for about a month. But if you don't play with it, you just have to count. There is no visual display of how big of a box or how many squares you're mining out. There's no display of it. You just have to manually count. So that is a big reason why I play with DFX. So I'm going to come down and do 5 steps. And then, like I said, I do like to mine out just one square in every direction from the staircase. Alright, so now we'll unpause the game and let the miner finish the task. Press space to unpause or use the highlighted controls at the top of the screen. You should pause regularly starting out. We are going to hit play. And we're going to come up to the surface and we are going to watch our miner. Now he is going to dig into the cliffside here. Ooh. So he is leaving behind some boulders. The tutorial will explain that on a later step. So I'll go over that when the tutorial does. Now I think it can be kind of fun to watch them mine it. We're going to watch the stairs get dug out. Ooh, that's a pretty boulder that he just left. And you can see on the sides of the staircase, sort of different colors. That's just the material that they're digging through, and you can kind of scroll over that. We're going to let him finish mining here. And yes, we're getting credit on the next part of the tutorial, but we'll explain that here in a moment. And okay, so he is done mining. We're going to hit pause. Okay, so let's make a safe place to work. Select regular mining mode to the left side, or to the left of stair mining mode. Dig a rectangle underground big enough for a large stockpile and some workshops. Consider that most workshops are 3x3 squares. Mining through the stone layers further down may take longer, but it leaves boulders, which are essential building material. That's what I was just talking about. Later, you can consider making a meeting area from the zones menu. Otherwise, your citizens will continue to gather by the wagon outside. And it wanted us to basically mine 20 squares, and we mined out an extra 17 just with the setup. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go ahead and hit on this next to the red X. There's a little white arrow on our tutorial. I'm going to click that, and it minimizes the menu. If I click it again, it will bring it back up. So if you accidentally close it, that's how you bring it back up. We're not ready for stockpile stuff just yet. We're going to continue digging, but I did want to kind of go over this boulder. So this boulder is a building material, and when it is shaped like this sort of blob, it is what is considered other stone in the stockpile menu. It's your rocks. It's what you make rock furniture out of, rock crafts. You can make rock blocks as a building material, so you can build walls and floors. You can have near infinite amount of these rock boulders. It is sort of a main building material. And they are, you can get different colors here. Like, see, we have this sort of this, I don't know, fuchsia one. This is alunite. Ooh, I've never had alunite before. That's a new one for me. And if we scroll over the walls, rough-hewn alunite wall. So if we were to dig more on this floor, we would potentially get more of those boulders. And this other one is basalt. Is that... So basalt, it looks like that might be one of our main stones here. This is very cool. This is some new material for me. Now we scroll down, and then we get into granite, and this is even another color. Okay. So we are going to keep mining and sort of get our permanent setup here. So if you look on our mini-map, we are kind of off-center, so I'm going to go back towards the center with this. And we're going to dig another staircase. So I'm going to make it the same size for the 2 by 2, so it's going to be 4 sets of stairs. And we are going to, again, I am setting up for a permanent setup. The reason for this is a defensive setup. Now, because we started the tutorial, we didn't get to pick where we settled. Some tutorial worlds I do not get attacked, some I do. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the setup as if we could get attacked, just so that way we're ready for it if it does happen. And then the staircase, I'm going to do a big staircase. I like a lot of floors for my crafts. I like a lot of space. And so I'm just going to dig a big staircase now. Now, this is not recommended. If this is your very first world, don't do this. There is a risk with digging down that deep. It is something that I actually like to do in most of my worlds. You can run into what is called deep caverns. When you only have 7 population, you don't want to be going into the caverns, but there are benefits to having the caverns unlocked. Either way, I'm going to dig this staircase, but if you are brand new, again, probably don't do this. There is a chance, since it's a tutorial world, that you won't hit the underground caverns, but it's only like a 50% chance to not hit it. I've done this enough. About 50% of the time you will hit a caverns. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and let her... I'm going to unpause. And let... oh, it might be a him. I'm going to let him do some mining. And actually, I think that is a him. I'm not sure if there are bald female dwarves in this game, but most of the bald dwarves that I've clicked on have been male. Actually, all of them that I've clicked on have been male. Here is a new boulder type that is dropping. So this sort of circular boulder is metal ore that's dropping. And when you smelt it at a smelter, at a furnace, you can turn it into metal bars. Now, unlike the stone boulders, the regular stone boulders that are dropping, the color of the metal ore does not translate to the color of the metal bar that comes out of it. So the metal ores are completely their own thing. They're separate. Okay. He's going to do... Yes. So as you can see, we do have like one square on all sides of the stairs. So the dwarves coming off the stairs, they've got room to go in case there's other people or other dwarves coming onto the stairs. That, again, you don't have to do it. I don't know if it helps, but... Ooh, we are getting some other colors here. Orthoclase, cobaltite. Now, if you can't see the colors, that's okay. The shape will be different for the different types of stone, and it's always this sort of blobby boulder for the rock. Ooh, mica. Now, this color is very similar to something called petrified wood. I have had petrified wood in every world I've dug, but it's rare, and it is sort of this color. And before this world, I had never seen another stone that was a similar color. So this is very... all of these stones are new for me. Orthoclase I've had a little bit, but it's not... Like this allanite I've never had. I've never had the basalt. So yay, this is very exciting. More allanite. It looks like allanite's going to be a very, very common color, which I love that color, so I'm very happy that if that's going to be it. So our miner isn't down here. He probably took a break to go eat, drink, or sleep. The dwarves will do that. They don't just, work nonstop forever until they die. They do have needs. I'm loving that allanite. And it's more common than a lot of these other colors. Cinnabar. Kind of sounds like cinnamon. Microline. Now, microline is kind of a common stone. I've had it in every world. It's a very pretty blue stone. And I usually do have enough microline to kind of build what I want out of it. We should be coming down to the bottom of the staircase shortly. We only have, a few more floors. Some more of that yellowy color. And cinnabar. Alright. So if you'll notice, these upward stair, and then we scroll up. These are the bottom of the staircase, so they only go up one floor. And then if we scroll up, it calls them up-down stairs, and you can see they go multiple directions. I'm going to hit F1, and you can see at the top of the stairs, it looks like it's just going down. It's a downward stairway. So you can scroll over it, and that's how you can kind of tell. If it's downward, it's only going the one direction. You cannot start here and try to dig up from here to get more stairs. It doesn't work that way. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and open the tutorial again. And it's wanting us to basically do some stockpile stuff. So I'm going to hit OK, and we're going to read the next menu here. The supplies on the wagon are in danger of being carried off by wild creatures. It's time to build a stockpile underground to unload them. Stockpiles are crucial to moving supplies around your fortress where they are needed. Stockpiles are placed with the stockpile button highlighted. Click it now. Well, we're not going to click it now because we need to dig the area for the stockpile. So I'm going to scroll down. So this, like I said, is kind of our entrance hallway. This is set up for defensive purposes. I will explain that in a future episode. So if we come down one floor, so this is our entrance from up above, and if we come over to the right, this is our main entrance into our fortress now, so every floor below this will be something. So if I come down one floor, because the floor above it is a defensive floor, this is a floor that I'm going to designate for military stuff. I will get into that in a future episode. This floor, if you look, this hallway is elevation 40. So 39 is going to be the military. Elevation 38 is going to be for animals. And then, so elevation 37, we are going to dig this one out for stockpile. So I'm going to start with our typical one in every direction from the staircase. And then we are going to come up a little bit and do a hallway. Come out a little bit, do a hallway like that. Come out a little bit and do a hallway like that. Now a lot of my designs are still very blocky. I like a lot of space and I like a lot of my stuff in the same rooms. I'm trying to get a little bit more fancy with my designs, which is why I'm doing hallways at all. Okay, so we are going to come out. We are going to do an 11 by 11 square. Again, this is why I play with DFHack. I really like this feature. And then we are going to come in one line, but we're going to leave a little bit. There we go. So that there's still a wall around the hallways. Okay, and then we're going to come in. So we'll do an entrance there and an entrance there. And then bring out the hallway. We'll do an entrance there, an entrance there, bring up the hallway. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to do the 11 by 11 square. And then bring in the one line. So it is essentially a 12 by, if you look, it's a 12 by 12 square, but it's just got that one corner by the stairwell not there. And it just gives it a little bit of a fancier look than just a big square room. Okay, so and then we will do the entrance like that. Now, something that we can do, and we are going to do, is in the mining menu, if you'll notice there is this yellow arrow pointing to the right. I'm going to pull it up, and it's currently set to 4. This way you can set priority for digging. We're going to have, I clicked on the number 1, and we're sort of redrawing a little bit over what we already picked. Because he doesn't need to mine out all of this. But I do, or at the same time, I want to make sure that we get one room mined out first. And then the rest of the mining can happen after that. So we're going to go ahead and hit play and let the mining happen. So if you'll notice that we have squares, they all have the pickaxe, meaning they're set to be mined. But some of them have a 1 in the upper right corner, and some of them have a 4 in the upper right corner. They are different colors. If you can't see the color, you can still see the number. Everything that has a 1 on it will be mined before anything that has a 4 on it. And that yellow arrow where you can pull up those numbers is on a lot of menus. Getting some new colors of boulders here. We got orthoclase, we got cobaltite. Ooh, that's a new one for me. Lots of new stones for me. There are a lot of different stones. I have not had all of them in my worlds by any means. Probably not even half. There are some that are a lot more common. And it does seem like in every world there's 2 or 3 stones that you'll just have a ton of and you'll never run out of. And then the rest of them will be in smaller amounts. The rest of the colors that you get. Alright, now the rest of our dwarves are really not doing much, so we're going to go ahead and get the stockpile started. He's dug enough of the room out that we can start. So the stockpile, if you'll notice the buttons in the bottom middle, again, the one in the very middle is what's flashing. This is our stockpile storage. We're going to go ahead and create a stockpile, and then you just click and drag and sort of draw a box. And you know what, we're going to come down one more. And we're going to hit accept. This green accept top left, whenever you're doing anything with stockpiles, like drawing a new one or repainting, you want to always hit the green accept button. Okay, so we have opened the stockpile mode. Now we have a new part of the tutorial. Click the add button and click two corners of a rectangle somewhere safe to place your pile. Stockpiles can be placed both on the surface and underground. Once the pile is placed, click accept and select the all option. The all option is here in the top left. I'm going to read this next bit before continuing. If unpaused, your workers should start unloading the wagon into the stockpile. Later, you may want to customize your stockpile by clicking on them and pressing the custom button to forbid certain categories like refuse, for example. A separate refuse stockpile is a good idea to keep your fortress clean. If the stockpile menu is open, you can close it now by right-clicking. Right-clicking can always be used to close most menus as well as escape. So we are going to actually customize this now. So we don't want everything going in this stockpile. By default, the corpses and refuse are not included when you click the all button. I leave it that way. You really don't want your dwarves putting corpses in with the food. They can get very sick. The other thing that I'm going to remove is stone. I don't want any stone, and I don't want any wood. So what I did was I clicked on stone here at the bottom, and I clicked this none in the middle. That just removed everything. And then wood, there is no none in the middle, it's just on the right. I clicked none on the right here. Anything that is red on the left here that is red is not included in the stockpile. For example, if we were to include some of the metal stone, it would be gray instead of red. So we want to make sure that these four are all red. And they are. I'm going to hit OK. We are not ready for this next bit yet. We're going to let our dwarves do a little bit of work here. But I'm going to hit escape to get out of the menu so that we can watch. Our dwarves are going to start unpacking the wagon, and they're going to start bringing things down. Now, the reason why we didn't want the stone included in the stockpile, we have those stone boulders. They're going to be everywhere as we're mining out more and more. We really don't want that filling up our all stockpile, or we won't have room for anything else. So that's why I removed the ore, and it's the same thing with the wood. We don't want those. You really want separate stockpiles for. Now it is kind of fun to watch the miners mine. They do. And I'm noticing as I'm watching them mine, there is a little bit of a pattern to it. They seem to want to stand in one spot and mine every space they can reach from that one spot, and then they'll move diagonally and mine everything they can reach from that spot. So that seems to be the pattern that they have, which is why we kind of have a diagonal line dug out here. But sometimes it can be a little frustrating if you have a big area that they're mining and they're not mining the spot you want them to mine, and they're just leaving like unmined bits in the middle. That's kind of why, is they move in a diagonal pattern. It doesn't always make sense which diagonal they go. Okay, so our miner fell asleep where he was standing. but our stockpile is full, so I'm going to go ahead and hit pause here, and we're going to click on a stockpile and repaint. So to repaint the stockpile, kind of upper right of the stockpile menu, there's this paintbrush with a plus. It says repaint this stockpile. So I'm just going to click and drag. There we go. And then hit accept. So we have more space. And as you can see, this middle block here that is not mined out yet, the stockpile is going around it. And that's okay. It won't actually include unmined blocks or walls. I'm waiting to move on to the next part of the tutorial until we get some space here. And again, you don't need to do rooms this big if you're just planning on playing the tutorial to learn the controls and then moving on to a new world. But I plan on staying in this world, so I'm going for a more permanent setup, which is why I'm doing a little bit more on each stage. And you can see they're bringing in like some fish. There's a pickaxe, there's an axe, there's some crutches, some rope, a stepladder. So it really is. They're bringing everything down from the wagon. Okay. So now that he has mined out the room there, we're going to go ahead and hit pause, and we're going to open the tutorial here. So with Shelter Ready Underground, it's time to build. First, you need building materials like wood or boulders. Before you start chopping down trees, you may want to create a dedicated wood stockpile. Haulers will also drop wood in your all stockpile unless you turn it off in the custom stockpile menu. We already turned it off. When you are ready, open the wood cutting menu and designate the trunk of a tree, which actually we're going to go ahead and have him mine. We're going to... Oh. He needs to finish that one block in the room. He did the rest of the room, leaving one block in the middle. We're going to hit play and let him finish doing all of the #1 priority blocks. Now he'll come get this one and then move on to... Okay, there we go. So I want to, now that we have the room completely dug out, we are going to repaint, and that is going to be the stockpile. Now, I'm going to go ahead and you can rename the stockpile with this little feather tool, and I'm going to rename this all stockpile and hit escape. Now, we are going to go ahead and get our miner going on our wood stockpile while we're doing this next bit of the tutorial. So we won't be watching the next stage of mining. But so this is our general, we're going to do a lot of temporary stuff on this floor for now, but in the long run this is going to be an all-purpose stockroom floor. And then we're going to come, so that was elevation 37. 36 is going to be sort of a social floor. 35 is going to be, this is where we're going to do like the permanent kitchens and food and all of that. And then 34 is going to be the floor with the wood stockpile. So I opened up this yellow arrow menu to make sure that we were still on priority #1 because we want him mining this out before he finishes the other floor. So we're coming up one diagonally, and we're going to do sort of the same size. We're going to do 11 by 11. We're going to do a hallway. And a hallway. Okay, so then entrances. Okay. We will eventually dig out more on this floor, but this is all just for the stockpile. And that's all we're going to assign for mining for right now. So the miner will come down and mine everything with the 1 here first before finishing all of these 4s on this level. The block that is flashing here, he will finish first before moving on to the 1s. Okay, so now, top left it says regular mining. We are still in the mining menu, so I'm going to go ahead and hit escape to get out of that. I'm going to open the tutorial again. We're going to go up and do the wood cutting. So, I'm going to hit F1 to come back up to our wagon. And it looks like we have some trees over here, so we are going to scroll down the elevation to where they are. We're going to hit the chopping trees. This is still set to priority 1. Whatever your last priority was that you set, it will be that until you change it again. When you first open the game, it's automatically set to 4. That's the one exception, and then after that, it's whatever you change it to. So these little round trunks on the screen are our trees. Now we just need to wait for the woodcutter to chop down the tree. If the fallen logs are accessible, everyone will help store them in the stockpile. You can right-click to close woodcutting mode. Right-clicking closes most menus, or you can hit escape. If all of your stockpiles are full, go ahead and place another one. We're going to hit escape. It does want us to stockpile the wood, so we will... we're going to hit play, and we're going to watch the trees get chopped down, and then we'll go down and create the stockpile once the miner has mined out the area. And here you can see the logs. You can kind of tell before they're chopped down what color logs they're going to drop. And you do get sort of some different color logs, and it seems like you get 6 or 7 different tree types in every world, and it can be different tree types. Okay, we're going to hit pause. Now that that's all chopped down, I'm going to hit F1 to recenter, and then we are going to go down. As you can see, he has not had time to come back up and mine any of the 4s. So let's see what our progress is on the 1. Okay, so we're going to just hit play and let him continue mining. And hopefully he's going to keep going in this room. This is where our stockpile is going to go for the wood. And we will get the stockpile going here. Okay, so there's not much dug out just yet, but there's enough for us to continue with the tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new stockpile. And again, the stockpile was the very middle button at the bottom. I have painted it, and now I need to hit accept. And I'm going to go ahead and come into custom. And this is just going to be wood. We're going to hit all. So all of our wood logs are going to come here. And then you hit escape to get out of this menu, and I'm going to come in and rename that wood. Okay, and we're going to hit play. And they're going to start bringing the wood down. Now, this is not... I have not seen where this is written anywhere, but it seems like if there are logs on the surface, and there is a stockpile underground that will accept those logs, the dwarves hauling the logs is a very high priority. They will do that over almost anything else. For them, it's a very, very high priority to bring those logs in. Okay. And this is not going to be enough space for all of those logs, so we are going to just repaint, hit accept, and escape. And we're going to hit OK on the tutorial. Alright. Now that you have the building materials, it's time to start building. Workshops are one of many buildings you can place with the highlighted build button. Click it now. Okay, so the build button is this, again, it's the bottom menu. It's in the middle section of buttons. It's this, the 3 bricks with a hammer button that's flashing here. We're going to click on that. We're going to come up. We're going to click on Workshops, which is this top button that's kind of I don't know, blue. We're gonna, it wants us to place a carpenter widget. So carpenter is kind of on the left here, it's on the towards the bottom, and we're going to place it here. Now, this is a list of building materials. As you can see, we have those stone boulders of the specific shape. We don't have the clay boulder. We don't have the that metal ore boulder. Those are not showing up here, and that's a good thing. You don't want to build out of those, or you can build out of logs. Now, logs are kind of precious and used for a lot of other things. So and the stone boulders are kind of infinite. So we're going to stick with the stone boulders, and it looks like. So orthoclays we're getting a lot of. Allanite I think we will have a lot of. We just haven't dug on those floors yet. So orthoclays is what we're going to build these temporary workshops out of. This is not the permanent location for these workshops. Now we're going to hit play. When unpaused, a worker should now build the workshop. Once the worker is done, click on the building to select it. So we have construct workshop. So. And there he goes constructing it. And the color of the workshop is directly related to the color of the boulder that was used to make it. And the orthoclase, you can see, is almost right next to it. It's a very similar color. Okay. And then we're going to click on the workshop. So now here on the right, it kind of moved and it's telling us what it wants us to do. Your industrious citizens will perform any task added to the workshop. Most objects that are placed, like doors and furniture, must first be built in a workshop. Furniture created at the carpenter's workshop usually takes 1 wood to build. Add a task and make a bed. Chop down more trees if necessary. Unpause and wait for the bed to be completed. So, big recommendation from me is this green Add New Task button. If you are new to the game, and especially if this is your first playthrough, but even if you've only played the tutorial once and you're kind of starting a fresh world, spend some time in this Add New Task button in each of your workshops, and just become kind of familiar with what you can do in the various workshops, what it takes to build those types of things, before you start automating. Big recommendation. So here we have the Make Bed. It's right at the top. And then there are the display case and 3 more items here. And then after that, everything is alphabetical. So make wooden altar, make wooden animal trap. It's alphabetical after that. Now, there is also a search function up here at the top that you can type in to look for what you're looking for. But since bed is right at the top, that's what we're going to stick with. And I'm actually going to make a couple more beds. And then if you'll notice the all stockpile, like the quiver, these axes, the pickaxes, a lot of that stuff they can store it in bins, so it takes up less space. So we're also going to make some wooden bins, which again, it's alphabetical, so it's on this first page. You can type it in, but I think it's faster to just go to it. And we are going to have them make a few bins. And then we are also going to, at the very bottom, make a couple of wheelbarrows. Reason being is all of these stone boulders and the wood logs on the surface, those are heavy, and the dwarves will move very slowly when they are hauling those to the stockpiles. The wheelbarrow makes that task easier. Okay, so we've done the add a make bed task, and now we need to actually make the bed. So we're going to hit play, and we're going to just stay on the menu. So he brought wood logs. I'm actually going to pause here. So here at the bottom, what I'm looking at is this bottom part under this line here. The orthoclase boulder that's there that has this house symbol next to it, that is what your workshop is made out of. That was the material. And then anything that's brought below that is stuff to do with the workshop. So he brought a hazelwood log. The check mark is, or like that little symbol with the check mark and the orange arrow means it's toggled to be hauled or used for a task. In this case, it's going to be used to make the bed. So he brought the log. He's going to make the bed. And once the bed is made, we'll see this log's replaced by the bed here. And then we'll see this symbol, this green check mark, when they come to haul it to a stockpile. So let's watch. and you can see the dwarf at the station there. And there's the bed, and it's someone's coming to haul it to the stockpile. The chestnut logs is for the next item, and you can see they work from the top down. And if you want to, you can use these buttons here to sort of change things. And we'll get into that in a different, or change the order of what's made. It's this orange up arrow if you wanted to change which order. If you wanted, say, a wheelbarrow made next, you can move it. The orange up arrow just moves it one square at a time. So we'll go ahead and put that at the very top, so it'll make that after the bed. The bed is already, it has the check mark next to it. That was already set to be made. So now the next thing they make will be a wheelbarrow, which will help with them hauling that wood down from the surface. Or we're going to wait until all the beds are made before we actually place them. And you can see in our all stockpile, there's a couple of beds in there. Now the color of like the blanket or the comforter that's on there has nothing to do with the wood color. You'll get random colors of the same wood type. If you build all of your beds out of one wood type, the blankets will be different colors, and that's random. You can't really control the color of the blanket. Okay, now they've made an empty bin. They're going to haul that bin here to the stockpile, and then they can start loading like this cloth and stuff into the bins, and like all the gems. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and hit pause. We're not going to watch him make all of that. And we're going to scroll down here and check on our progress here. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and expand that stockpile. My plan is to make it this whole room eventually. Going to accept once he finishes digging it out. Now, something that I do want to do, we do have our mining task. This is all set for 1, and then he's going to come back up and keep digging up here. But I actually want him to dig after he's done with the 1s. I want him to finish digging out this hallway. And there is a reason for that, and I'll explain that in a minute. But I'm going to hit play and let him finish digging. Now while he is finished digging, we'll stay on the workshop here and watch as he makes all of these things for us. They're bringing in some fish and stuff now. Okay, so that is all of the bins made. There's 2 bins sitting there. Your workshops can get a little backed up if your dwarves are super busy hauling other stuff, which our dwarves are. They're still hauling stuff to the stockpiles. Okay, and there's an extra wheelbarrow. Those wheelbarrows will come in handy for them hauling stuff. Now, while we're still waiting on the miner, I am going to go ahead and make some more. I'm going to make some empty barrels. And I'm going to make those fish that are coming in are going to be stored in barrels. And then like your food and drink are stored in barrels. And then we're going to need some more bins. I'm just going to get that queued up so that they can be working on it. And then we are also going to build 1 step ladder. We have 1 already, but I'd like to have 2. And we will go ahead and do 1 more wheelbarrow. And hit play. Okay, so now this hallway is dug out. So I'm going to open back up the Tutorial. Now that you have a bed, you can place it in the fortress. Use the build menu to place it in a room underground, just like the workshop. Dig a new room first if you like. Beds are found in the furniture category. Unlike workshops, beds must be placed underground. Alright, so it is in the build menu that we can do that. So instead of clicking on workshops, we're going to click on furniture. And we're going to come over here. Bed is the top one on the right here. And in the top left here, I'm going to click this keep building after placement. That is very useful for if you're going to place more than one of the same object, or same furniture or workshop at the same time. And we're going to place 3 beds. Alright, and then I'm going to come back over here to the bottom of this hallway. Now, normally... Ooh. I just realized... I'm going to click on number 1 here and have him dig out. I actually did want these hallways going all the way out. Okay. Hit play. This is a temporary setup. We'll be setting up more permanent setup. There we go. A more permanent setup later on. But I'm setting up all the temporary stuff on this floor. This is going to be a permanent space, and this shape is a permanent space. It will eventually just be stockpile stuff. Now, I did want to point out, we had those Hershey Kiss shaped gems before. Here we have a gem that has like 5 little, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little prongs. This is an expensive gem. This is I think that's a sapphire, so that's worth a lot of value. If you get those real pointy gems, those are really good to save for something special. Okay, very cool. So now we are going to come back into the build menu, go to furniture, go to bed. We still have that keep building after placement checked, and we are going to place our beds. Now in this menu, if you click on this little yellow arrow, you can expand it to place a specific bed. For me, I don't really care which bed we place, but I did want to point out, so here we have 2 beds have the 2 dashes on either side of it, and then there is a bed that has this sort of like little star next to it. The one that has the star next to it is a higher quality bed, and the lowest base bed would have nothing on either side of it. It would just say like hazelwood bed. So if it has these dashes or this little star on either side, it just means it's a higher quality bed, which is good. Our dwarves are going to like sleeping in higher quality beds. So we're going to go ahead and place. And then if you don't expand the menu and you just click on hazelwood bed, it's going to grab any hazelwood bed that was under there. Since we don't really care, or we're placing all 3 beds, we don't really care which one goes where. Okay, so we're going to hit play so that they can actually come. So the furniture has to be built where you place it, and that's why it's kind of grayed out and why you can still see the beds in the stockpile. So we're going it's waiting for for a dwarf to come take the bed and place it where we want them to build it. They are still busy. Like I said, if you have wood on the surface and you have room in a stockpile for them to haul that wood into, that is their highest priority. Let's go up and check on this. See, we still actually have quite a lot of wood, and they are slow, or those logs are heavy, so they are slow when they are bringing that down. And there is still plenty of room in the stockpile. But we are going to go ahead and repaint the stockpile. So to repaint the stockpile again, you just you click on the stockpile, and if you click on something in the stockpile, that's not going to do it. Okay. I'll show you that later. Okay, so let's go ahead and paint, and then we also want this bottom line, and hit accept. So now we have, and yes, this is a bigger stockpile. Each log takes up 1 space, and you're just going to need some space for your stone and logs. And then we'll come back up and see. It might take them a minute to. There, somebody placed the bed. Okay. We'll pause. With a bed placed, your workers will have somewhere to sleep. Later, you can create a room with a door and use the zones menu to assign an official bedroom for each resident. We are going to want to do that, but we're going to wait until we have the permanent space dug out to start doing that. This is just our temporary start. Okay, we're going to hit OK. Now, the rest of the interface is now enabled. You can click on creatures and items just as you can click on buildings to get more information about them. Click on a resident to see their needs, inventory, thoughts, relations, and more. You can also access information from the citizens button. We are going to hit play because I want to see where our mining dwarf is. I think that's our mining dwarf there that's sleeping. When he starts mining again, well, he's the citizen I want to click on. We're just waiting for some time to pass while he sleeps. And that's why we did 3 beds, is so that more than one dwarf could sleep at a time. And there we go. Okay. And now I'm pretty sure this is our mining dwarf here. He is at the stockpile. He was probably drinking, or he might be eating. Now he's probably hauling. Okay, well, we'll just click on this one down here. He had the pickaxe out, which is how I knew this is a miner. Okay, so up here at the top of the menu, I'll finish reading the tutorial part. Feel free to pause and check out the information. Right-click to dismiss the information sheet. We're not ready to do that. I'm just going to go over. So at the top here, you can see the name of the dwarf, Godin Suvalsoslan. And then comma miner. Now the color of it, all miners are going to have that same color for their name. And it's kind of in between white and gray. Below the name and his occupation is Godin Lustrous Wound. And that's in quotation marks. That is his nickname. Now that is important, and it took me forever to figure that out why in other menus, and I will explain it when we come across some of those other menus. And then under that it says he is making a wooden stepladder. So he is currently at and we kind of want we need him mining. We may need to up the number on the rest of the mining there. But he is, so that's why he is at the workshop, is he is making a stepladder. And then, so if you see, oh, this is actually a she. My bad. And 68 years old. 68 years old seems old to us, but the dwarves live for, I think, 200 or 300 years, so 68 is actually not that old for the dwarves. I'm not sure, like, how old they get, but it is definitely at least 200 years. Well, I say definitely. I guess I don't know how old they get, but I have a lot of dwarves that are in like the 60 to 90 range, and they migrate like that, and they do work. So I don't think that's that old for a dwarf. Okay, then we have, so these are sort of their personality traits. Now, when it's in blue, and again, if you can't see the colors, it says values, independence, values, peace. Those two things are in blue. I don't know what the blue indicates there, but the developed empathy, so the developed being the part that if you can't see colors, that's the word developed. Green is a good thing. And it says not wasteful, not inclined to abstract. I think those are kind of neutral, and then you have poor social awareness in orange. The orange is bad. Or if it says the word poor, that's a bad trait. So social awareness, they're not going to be great at consoling people. They're not going to be great at talking to people. So you don't want them in a position like a priest or an entertainer or someone who needs to be good at socializing. This dwarf will be very bad at that. And then we have, then it says healthy here. So the dwarf is healthy. If you have a wounded dwarf, it'll say it there. Or if they have health problems, it'll say it there. They have no official position. Squad none, that is military. Unmet need box. All of these are unmet needs. Excitement, acquire object, fight, argue, be extravagant, help somebody. This is important, and we'll get into that in a later episode. And then we have accomplished miner, which makes sense. Accomplished is, I think there's there's 8 or 10 different stages for each of the professions. Accomplished is like 5 or 6. It's kind of up there. This is the only miner we've had, so that's why their skill is kind of up there. Our miner is also a skilled appraiser, which is, yay, very exciting for when we get a trader. And then a dabbling carpenter. Now, the dabbling carpenter, we really do need to get them off the workstation, but it's because they're building that wooden step ladder. And then at the very bottom here, we have try to focus on the practical side of the matter. And you can kind of read through. These are their thoughts. So she felt satisfied or euphoric. Those are all in green. Those are the things that are making them happy, which is a good thing. And we'll get more into the happiness later. But she was annoyed at the lack of chairs. She was annoyed after having a drink without using a goblet, cup, or mug. Well, that makes sense. Who wants to use their hands for everything they drink? And we will fix that. And then she was also annoyed after sleeping on a rough cave floor. Well, we have fixed that. We have now placed the beds. So anything that they are annoyed by is something you want to fix, because you don't want your dwarves getting annoyed. And there's a whole lot of other tabs up here. You can see the items. So these are the clothing that she's wearing. And then because she is a miner, she requires a pickaxe, and she has one. And I'm not going to get into all these menus. Like, you can click on the tabs. There's a ton of stuff, and we will go through that stuff in different episodes. But the relations is kind of neat. You can see so who their friends are, who their family is, and the fact that you can go to them, that they are on this menu, means they are in your kingdom. So these are, the friends are, it makes sense that they're all friends. These are your 7 dwarves, and then long-term acquaintance for the mason. So she doesn't actually have any family here. And then it does also have their deity, who they worship. And that name is auto-generated, and will be, you'll get different names in different worlds. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit escape. Right-click to dismiss the information sheet. I use escape for getting out of it, but both work. You can right-click or hit escape. Okay, so we've closed the information sheet. We're going to hit OK. Now, important and sometimes urgent information is given as alerts on the left side of the screen. There have been several already. Hover over an alert icon to see the information. Left-click on an alert for recentering options, and right-click to dismiss the alert. So I'm going to come scroll over it. And this is just an example urgent alert. They are very important. Ignore them at your peril. I'm going to right-click to dismiss it. I'm going to scroll over these others. So this is a mining alert, and you can tell by the pickaxe that you have struck certain materials. You can left-click to get more material, or more information. You have struck allanite. Okay, let's say I wanted to know where I have struck allanite. So you can click on this button to the right of it, this arrow with an X, and it will show you this is where you struck allanite. And if you scroll over, actually, I'll finish getting through this tutorial here to get it out of the way, and then we'll finish that thought. You may need supplies before the coming of winter to trade with the autumn caravan. You must build a trade depot from the build menu. You need something of value to trade. Okay. Actually, I'll just close this so we can finish going over this. So the rough-hewn allanite wall that we are, as I'm scrolling over all these spots, that's what all that is. And then we have galena. If I wanted to mine more of this material, I could. If you go into mining, so, and right now it's currently set on all. So this yellow arrow is what I'm looking at. Currently set to all. If you click auto, you can dig only ores and gems selected, and auto mine any ore and gems of the same type which are uncovered. If I were to click that and then click on the allanite wall, it would mine this entire vein of allanite. Now, I'm not going to do that because I want a certain structure to my base, but if you wanted to mine a certain material, that's where these mining alerts can come in handy. So I'm going to go ahead and close those. This is just weather. It is now summer, and I'll kind of show you all that in a moment. It has started raining, and the weather has cleared. And then there is nothing to catch in the northwestern swamps, ×2. This is a fishing alert, basically. you'll also get this for, like, if dwarves can't, this is the dwarves cancel a job, but that swamp thing is a fishing. And then this is just a sample alert. Okay, now we're going to escape out of the mining. And now we're going to open this back up. Okay, so you need supplies before the coming of winter. To trade with the autumn caravan, you must build a trade depot from the build menu. We're going to come up, and we're going to hit F1. Now the trade depot, we're going to build, or we'll get to the rest of this in a moment. The trade depot, you come to the building menu, and it is not a workshop. It is actually the only one that is in white here. It is the very last thing on the list here. It's called trade depot. Now, as you can see, it's kind of big. And we're going to stick it in this big open area right here. And I'm going to click, and now we can pick what material to make it out of. Now, this is just my personal preference. I like to make the trade depot nice and splashy. So, and I like this allanite color. So I'm going to click on allanite. And as you can see, it says 1 out of 3. So it's going to require 3 of these boulders to build this. So you can click allanite 2 more times, or come over here to the right and hit this yellow all button. And it will make all of it the allanite. Now we are going to hit play and watch them build our trade depot. Oh, actually first, we will come back down. And we need to change our mining priority here to get our miner back mining. Because we don't really want them doing our wood stuff. We have other dwarves that can do that, so we want our miner doing our mining. Okay. So the miner is going to finish. They are making the wheelbarrow. They're going to finish doing that, and then they will go do other tasks. Okay. And we're going to hit F1, and we're just going to stay on this. They are still kind of hauling the wood down, so that is 100% a high priority. You want to get this trade caravan built before, you know what, let me finish going through the tutorial here. Because I'm going to explain a couple things, and we're almost at the end here. You need something of value to trade to the caravan. Crafts are an easy way to make a lot of trade goods quickly. Make the appropriate workshops with workshops crafts, which we're going to do. We'll finish that in a minute. I know I keep kind of bouncing forward and changing my mind here. So this very top menu here, on the very left, you can see the name of our kingdom is, and I'm going to call it Roof Mansion. I'm not going to try on that first word. Outpost. And then we have our population. We have 7 population. And then we have a whole bunch of smiley faces. The green one on the left is super happy. And they get less happy as you move to the right. And then if the red smiley face there is the angry face. You do not want your dwarves getting red. Bad things happen when that happens. And we'll go more into that in future episodes. If you cannot see color, on the very left is the happiest, and you can see it's a big smile, and on the very right is angry, and it goes from, you know, happy to angry. And then you have your stockpile button. This you can click on and you can see sort of everything that you have. Now, until you get a bookkeeper, these numbers are approximate. And we're going to hit escape. And the food, drink, seeds, meat, fish, plant, all of that is approximate until we get a bookkeeper. And then on the right here we have the 25th of hematite. That is the month. So hematite is the month, and then 25th is like the day, and then it's early summer. We started in early spring, and year 100 is the year we started, because there's 100 years of history. The caravan, it told us, is coming in early autumn, so we basically have and it's almost the end of the first month of summer. So we basically have 2 months until the trade caravan comes. You want to get this trade depot built before your caravan comes. As you can see, we've been waiting. I'm going to hit play now. We've been waiting for a moment for them to come and build this because they are still hauling that wood. If you wait until the caravan gets here to build your trade depot, I have had the caravan leave before my depot gets built because my dwarves are busy doing other things. So it's very important to get this trade depot built. And there we go. They're starting to build it. You know, this took 3 boulders, that's why it's partially built. And they're going back to grab the other boulders, and it takes a while to haul those boulders. And here comes the dwarf moving super slow with boulder number 2. And now he's going to go get another boulder. Oh, or was that the 3rd boulder? Trade depot is built. Yay. And see, it's very pretty, that allanite color, and I wanted it to be kind of a snazzy color. We're going to go ahead and pause. The reason why I keep pausing so much is because we really don't have a lot of time before the caravan comes, and we want to kind of do the rest of what this page is talking about. So we are going to come down. We want the miner to finish here. It was unfortunate that the miner is the one who ended up doing all of our wood stuff there, because that slowed him down on mining. I'm just watching him mine. I should stop saying him. It's her. Okay. So, you need something of value to trade. Crafts are an easy way to do that. To get a lot of trade goods quickly. Make the appropriate workshop with workshop's crafts. An obvious material to use to make crafts is rock. If you dig down enough layers, you will find a near infinite amount of boulders of various kinds, as well as some rough gems if you are lucky. Gems can be cut at the jeweler's workshop and crush them on crafts and other items to add even more value. Now this page is all about trading, so these are our clues. So we want the crafting workshop to make crafts to trade, and then we want a jeweler's workshop to cut gems to trade. Both of those things are a good way to get value kind of quickly, so that we have something to trade, because you do not want to miss that first caravan. So we're going to hit OK. Oops. Just the beginning. This is the very last page, so I'm going to just read through it. There's a lot more to learn. As you enter new menus, there will be information and tips. The help button at the top of the screen contains more guides. Click it now, and this tutorial will be concluded. Click the help button. It's flashing there just right next to the mini screen. Here on the left are all of what we were learning for the tutorial, and then here on the right is a whole bunch of new stuff. Now, I've never really gone through this info that's on the right. I've just kind of dug into it on my own, but you feel free to do so if you're interested. I'm going to hit... the game is open-ended, and you can now do whatever you choose. If you'd like a goal, try to become a barony, then a mountain home. More likely, your dwarves will starve unless you read the first few guides here. And remember, losing is fun. I'm going to hit escape, and that all goes away. Okay. I'm going to hit play, let him sort of mine these last few little... Yes, okay. So now we are going to go and build those workshops. So, we have everything dug out that we wanted for kind of our temporary stuff. We are going to want a stoneworker. We're going to put the stoneworker here. And we are going to want a jeweler. The jeweler I'm going to do out of, let's do microline. And then we're going to do the crafts as well out of microline. Now I'm picking orthoclase is just a block that we have a ton of, which is why I'm doing that for most of it. But the microline is to make it easier for me to see visually that these are kind of for our crafts. That's all I'm going to build workshop-wise in this first episode. We'll get into the other workshops needed in the next episode, but I just wanted to kind of go over getting ready for the caravan in what's left of this video. We are also going to make a little stockpile. I'm going to accept, and we're going to come into custom, and we're going to come to finished goods. We are going to click amulets. So here under type, it's this first type: amulets, bracelets, crowns, earrings, figurines, rings, and scepters. It is 7 items. It is these 7 items that I'm specifically going for, and I'll explain why in a minute. Materials, we're just gonna, this is a temporary stockpile, it's gonna change, so we're just gonna put all on all these materials. So the type is what type of finished good you're making, and then the rest of this, the stone, metal, gem, and other materials is what it's made out of, and we're just selecting all. Core quality, we'll select all except for artifact. All except for artifact. And then the color, undyed, and dyed are new stockpile settings for me. I don't know if they matter for stuff getting sorted into a stockpile, so I'm just going to click all on it, just in case it does. Like I said, that's a brand new stockpile feature. I'm going to hit escape, and I'm going to label this trade goods. And then I'm going to come over to the all stockpile, and I'm going to remove those same 7 items. So finished goods, come into type, I'm going to remove amulets, bracelets, crowns, earrings, figurines, rings, and scepters. I'm not removing any of the rest of it, and I'll explain why in a future episode. But that is, we're removing it from the all stockpile. Oops. And I will explain in a moment. We're going to hit play. And actually, we are going to pause again really quickly, and we are going to make another stockpile, and we're going to make it actually a little bit bigger. And we're going to do, we're going to come into gems, we're going to do cut gem, we're going to click all. We're going to come up here, we're going to do cut gem. I will explain this in a moment, I promise. One other step on this one, oops. We are going to come into this little barrel option, and we do not want it putting these in bins. Again, I will explain later. So just come into the bins and do 0 and hit done. And then we need to come into the all stockpile, hit gems. We're going to come down to cut gems, which is in this middle menu, and then we're going to hit none. So we're going to hit play, and I will explain everything I just did once stuff is built. Alright, so our workshops that I made out of blue are what I made for us to do some stuff for the trade caravan. Oh. Oops. Stoneworkers workshop. We're gonna remove that. I meant that to be a jeweler. This was also meant to be a jeweler. Oh, geez. Or this was meant to be crafter's workshop. So, as you can see, we can remove the workshops. Okay, we're going to try that again. So we're going to come into workshop, and we want a jeweler here out of microline. It's because of the keep building after placement, that's why that happened, and I just forgot to switch. So I'm going to hit escape and come in to the building, workshop, come back up to workshops, and we're going to go with crafts, and we're going to build that out of microline as well. And now we're going to hit play. My bad. My bad. Okay, so now we have some different looking workshops. Okay, so as you can see, these two on the bottom kind of left that are made out of orthoclase are two different workshops. They are made out of the same building material, which is why they are the same color. But you can see visually they are different workshops. It is the same thing with the two blue workshops. They are made out of a different, they are both blue because they are made out of a different material than the other two. They are made out of microline instead of orthoclase. And you can visually see they are different workshops. So you can, I like to color code things, and yeah, we'll get into that in future episodes. But I did the two in blue just so it was easy for us to see which workshops are for the trader. So I'm going to click on the jeweler. I'm going to come in here to add new task. And we are just going to cut some gems. And we are going to set it on repeat. Actually, no, we're not. We're just going to do that 10 times. 10 is the amount of tasks you can have here. Okay. And we have found some raw gems as we saw when we were digging. This is going to cut them. When you cut raw gems, they become, they increase in value. And then all of those cut gems we are going to have in this stockpile over here on the right, this cut gem stockpile. And we're not having them go into bins so that we can individually select which gems we sell to the vendor. So if it were to go in bins, we'd have to select the entire bin. And that is also why we removed it from the all stockpile, is so that it does not go in the all stockpile. We want it going in the stockpile that we set for it. And then we're going to come in. I'm going to click on the Craft Dwarf workshop and come in, add new task. Now here, these are the various materials that you can make it out of. So you have to select the material first, and then it'll go into the crafting menu. We want to build stuff out of rock because that's what we have a ton of right now. So I'm going to come into rock. And then, so you've got make large rock gems, which is not alphabetical, but then everything after that is alphabetical in this menu. We want to come down to make rock crafts. Now there are 7 different things that when you make a rock craft, there are 7 different things it will make, and those are the 7 things that we did in this trade goods stockpile. Those 7 things are amulets, bracelets, crowns, earrings, figurines, rings, and scepters. And this is true regardless of which material you make it out of. If you go to make, say, metal crafts, or wood crafts, or rock crafts, if you go to make crafts, it will make one of these 7 things. And the other thing we're going to do is, now that we have the rock crafts there, if you scroll over this sort of arrows in a circle here, it says click to set this task to repeat indefinitely. We're going to do that. This is the easiest way to automate something. It's going to just automatically keep doing this over and over and over again. We are going to click to set this task as highest priority among all tasks everywhere. That's what this exclamation is. We're going to click that because we need some value for when the traders come, and we want them to do this. And then this little magnifying glass set details for this task, such as the material to be used. We want, if we click that, it's showing us these numbers in purple are rock boulders, and we had it making rock crafts. If you see at the top, it says make rock crafts. So these are the boulders that are available for us to use for that. And because we have so much orthoclase, I'm going to set it to orthoclase. Now, you'll notice here it went from make rock crafts to make orthoclase crafts, and that's because we selected the specific material. So now it won't grab boulders we don't want it to grab. It'll just grab orthoclase, and it's going to make some of those crafts. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit play. Well, actually, we're going to do one other thing. We're going to come over here to workers. We're going to click on this workshop is free for anybody to use. We're going to see if we have a stone crafter, so we're going to grab him. You can set a specific worker on a workshop, and we want the specific worker doing these things. I'm going to actually do the same thing on the workers for the jeweler. We do not have a jeweler. So, right now, let me go... We'll give our expedition leader something to do. We'll have him cut some gems. We're going to come in to our stoneworkers workshop. We're going to set... We have a stoneworker, so we're going to set him here, and we're going to set him to build a few things in future episodes. And we are actually going to come in here to the carpenter workshop, and we have a proficient carpenter, so we're going to set him to our workshop. So we won't run into that issue again where we had the miner building wood stuff. That is one way that you can micromanage your dwarves. I do like to micromanage my dwarves. You don't have to do that. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and hit play, and we're going to watch a few crafts be made. So again, this microline boulder, that's this top line here, that has this house symbol, is the material that the workshop is made out of. Everything below that has to do with what's happening at the workshop. Alright, so they brought an orthoclase boulder, and they're going to make crafts out of it. And there you go. You've got a figurine and a crown. Now, one boulder will make multiple crafts, and it will be random among those 7 as to which crafts you get. And we'll click on the stockpile stuff here in a moment. Just want to watch. Now, he's moving so slow because he's dragging a boulder. I'm going to pause for a moment. If you'll see next to like the earrings, there's a dash on either side, and then the other 2 have like these little stars. The stars are higher quality than the dash, and all of those are higher quality than the base quality, which will have no markings on either side. The reason why we set a worker that had some skill in it is because he has a better chance of crafting higher quality goods, which means we'll get more value out of that when the trader comes. Now, and I'll come back and I'll hit play and we can watch a few more crafts being made, but I'm going to click on the bin here in the stockpile. As you can see, the bin, they are hauling these crafts that he's making over here to the bin. Now, the reason why we made a separate stockpile for this is when the trader comes, these items are stored in a bin, and if you're going to sell something to a trader, you have to sell the entire bin. You can't just pick and choose items in the bin. If we had left these items to be stored in bins in the all pile, they would have been mixed in with things that we want to keep. So that's why I made a separate stockpile, and that's just something really easy you can do to get some value before we have about a month and a half. We are midsummer. We have a month and a half until the traders come. This is just a really easy way to get some value. Now I'm going to come over here, and these are the cut gems. And if you remember, we told it no bins. I clicked on the barrel here. That's how I brought this menu up. And we want to leave it that way. The reason being is we did mine some, I'm pretty sure, oh, that's indigo tourmaline. That's still kind of a high value gem. And we're not going to want to use that necessarily with the vendor. If it was sapphire, I definitely wouldn't. The tourmaline, I might. We'll see. We'll see if our expedition leader cuts any of the tourmaline. So I'm going to leave it on our craft stockpile here. Our jeweler, or actually, I'll click on the jeweler so that you can see. He's got 5 more gems to cut. He brought over a rough cat's eye. Here you can see this has like 3 little spikes on it. So this is, it's higher value than the little Hershey Kiss gems, but it's not as high as that indigo tourmaline. Yes, he brought that over. So this rough indigo tourmaline is going to be some value for the vendor. And that's what the all of these are the different cut gems. And again, with all of these materials, you can go in and you can set the magnifying glass if you wanted them to grab a specific one, but I'm okay with him cutting pretty much anything we have. And here, the rough red tourmaline, the indigo tourmaline had more spikes on it, so it's more valuable. That is one of the few times where the color matters on the gems, but it's still, the rough gem had more spikes on it, so you can see visually it's a more valuable gem. Okay. We're going to click on the craft workshop. Now, these crafts that they're making, the amulets, rings, crowns, if a dwarf comes to haul it and they wind up liking the item, they will keep it. And that is something that makes them happy. That's a good thing. So not every craft that gets crafted is going to make it into your stockpile, because if the dwarf likes it, it becomes theirs. And there's a scepter. And we saw a dwarf come pick it up and he put it in the stockpile. The bracelet, a dwarf came and picked it up and then they walked away. They didn't put it in the stockpile, so that's why I mentioned that they wound up liking it. I'm going to go ahead and pause and we'll click on the bin. So now you can see we have figurines, crowns, figurine, earring, bracelet, ring, scepter. So it is all those items that I was talking about. And here we actually do have a lot of the different symbols. So here this orthoclase crown has none of the symbols around it. So that's the very base value. This orthoclase scepter at the bottom has just a single dash. That is the next lowest value. And then you get like, we don't, oh, we do. We have the plus is the next value. So it's sort of, the rule of thumb is the more lines, the more valuable it is. Until you get to this triple line like this on either side of this bracelet. This is the third highest quality possible. So that's going to be, of what we have here, that is the most valuable that is crafted. And the only reason we have one that is that high is because we set a dwarf with some skill to craft that. You're not going to get that from dwarves who don't have any skill. And I am going to go ahead and leave it there. I am looking at our alerts on the left. I will scroll over. So this cancel alert. Our planter canceled store item in bin, job item misplaced. And then our stonecutter canceled store item in bin, job item misplaced. That can happen if... honestly, I think what happened was they came to grab something that a dwarf claimed. But I don't know that for sure, but that happens sometimes. So I'm just gonna, but sometimes if you don't have a material or, this is good to look at for why jobs get canceled. The job item misplaced, I can get into that more in a future episode. But I'm going to cancel that for now. And then it has started raining. I'm going to cancel that for now. So, but the raining does matter. If you have any dwarves going outside and it's raining, they're going to get grumpy. Even the dwarves that like nature, they don't like going out in the rain. And so that can be something that you can, just pay attention to, and maybe don't go cut down trees when it's raining. That's up to you. And then the final alert there is a special alert, which I am going to save for next episode. This is Amulani. If you enjoyed the episode, please thumbs up it. If you like what I'm producing, please subscribe to the channel. I will see you next episode.